The holidays may be coming to a close, but let's throw one more log on the fire before we ring in the new year. Just make sure it's not an evil log. You know those videos you put on when the family is around because no one can agree on what to watch? Just background footage accompanied by some inoffensive music. That's pretty much what this is. When you see that this is produced by Adult Swim, you know it's not going to be a wild horror comedy or anything like that. It's fun for the whole family. That's why I'm giving Adult Swim Yule Log, aka The Fireplace, an 8 out of 10. It doesn't have any homicidal man-babies or blood-sucking aliens, nor a weird little racist man who lives in the fireplace and can travel through time. So this is a pretty good troll on Adult Swim's part. It starts off as though it's going to be a single camera angle on a burning fire, but slowly turns into a slasher horror comedy packed full of satirized tropes and absurd dialogue. The film is buried within HBO Max. I had to use the search engine to find it, it wasn't showing up in my recommendations. This does turn into a real movie eventually. At first it seems as though the entire film will be a single camera angle, which would have been impressive but restrictive as well. Though it's a slow start, by the end, it's exactly the weird and wacky surreal experience you'd expect from Casper Kelly, the creator behind Too Many Cooks, a viral video from 2014. Too Many Cooks was also kind of a troll video, a short film which began as a parody of sitcom intros, then morphed into a slasher piece. The postmodern promise of Too Many Cooks is fleshed out more here, with a full script and story. The acting is good, much better than you'd expect for such an over-the-top script. The characters talk about haunted logs and alien abductions with an oddly stilted delivery. It throws in so many horror cliches that it's funny, but it's also disturbing and nightmarish as well. The effects look cheap, but that's always been part of the appeal of Adult Swim. Ideas that are too weird to be massively funded, but have a low-budget charm to them. The Fireplace is a film about a couple vacationing at an Airbnb which becomes double booked, which was also the plot of Barbarian, but this one takes itself a lot less seriously. The characters are intentionally slasher movie cliches. The narcissistic girl with a lot of cleavage, the dumb stoner bro, the nerdy guy and his girlfriend, and yes, everyone is going to get slaughtered. There's not too much of a surprise there. The main couple actually do get a little character development. The girlfriend character is dealing with the death of a friend and experiencing crippling anxiety. The boyfriend films very basic Yule log videos that get millions of views, so he's a parody of lazy content creators. And the group that shows up are all obnoxious podcasters, so there are some deserving stabs taken at vapid social media influencers. Have you heard of my podcast, bro? The film begins with a close-up on the fire that goes on for about 10 minutes. The woman cleaning the Airbnb is being murdered, and the view is obscured. When the couple shows up, the boyfriend zooms the camera out, and we get a full shot of the room. As characters enter the house, they comment on the camera, putting their faces right up in it. There's a wine bucket in the corner of the screen where the killer's reflection can be seen, that is used to give tension to the opening of the film. It would have been difficult to get this all in one take, so every now and then an image of the location in the past is wiped across the screen because yes, there's a time travel element at play here. Various time periods of the haunted location are displayed through wipes that allow for edits, but it does appear that around 20 minutes were filmed uninterrupted. The stoner kid climbs into the fireplace and meets a tiny man who sends him back in time to change his grades in school, but he accidentally kills his pregnant mother and ceases to exist. It doesn't really make any sense at all, but that's kind of the point. The whole movie feels like a bad drug trip. Making sense out of this one might be a fool's errand, though it does seem to be making fun of the southern United States by including a gross pimento cheese force-feeding scene with an over-the-top hillbilly stereotype going by the name of Mother. The story unexpectedly has a theme about racism, as the log in the fire came from a demon tree where a slave was hung after killing a slave master. The couple in the film is interracial, which doesn't really seem to be a notable detail until the bizarre ending of the film. The flying evil log is about to kill our main couple after they thought it was all over, a gag on the typical horror cliche. Then we cut to a couple working for a modern media company. It's the same actors as the slave and the slave master, but it's in the modern day, and they're working on a project for a client. The AC repair guy says the line, "I think I beat it into submission," and then the characters just start repeating their lines in a loop, and then they're all in hell or the fireplace, and it's suggested that the creepy time-traveling man is the dead slave master. The Fireplace is like putting Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the blender with aliens and occultists. Then, sprinkling on top some themes about the remnants of slavery haunting the United States, and jokes about internet memes.
That meme with the dog, where he says, "This is fire."
It's fresh, fun, simultaneously humorous and disturbing, and even though it might be overly ambitious, it's a creative premise and a welcome surprise. It's one of the most insane horror comedies I've seen in a while, and a great way to close out the year. Now curl up by the fire and have a Nurse Nutmeg on me. It won't cost you a thing, except maybe your soul.